In today's video, we'll be talking about Sony canceling an annual PlayStation event. They were running this event every year, but in 2018, there will be no PlayStation experience, and Shawn Layden explained why, and if you actually look at his explanation, and I'll give you guys some context, it does make a lot of sense. Also, for a long time, we've been wondering what Rocksteady, the guys behind the Batman Arkham games, what their next project was gonna be, and now we have another huge rumor circulating on 4chan, and there's a lot of context to this as well, and it actually ties into an Easter egg found in Batman Arkham Knight's DLC, and I'll talk about why that is so relevant. Also, there's another rumor going around that Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PlayStation 4 is going to be coming on 2 Blu-ray discs. This is coming from a GameStop tweet, and it's based on the box that they pictured in their tweet, and the box actually looks like it can house 2 separate Blu-ray discs, and I think it would be the first time where a singular game that's released on a Blu-ray platform would be released on 2 separate discs. Also, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's release is quickly approaching, and now we have an idea of how long the main story is gonna take. I want to take a look at that, as a lot of you guys are getting excited for that, as we're only 6 days away from the official release. And I want to round out this video by taking a look at some great PlayStation 4 deals available right now. One of the deals includes $50 of PlayStation Store credit for just $45, so that is going to be a universally great deal. And if you guys are looking for physical games, well, I got 2 great deals on JRPGs as well, so I'll be taking a look at that at the end of this video. First up, let's talk about Sony's Shawn Layden officially confirming that there will be no PlayStation Experience event in 2018. Traditionally, the PlayStation Experience event would be held every year in December, and it was always a cool event where you see a couple of lower key announcements and gameplay of some of the biggest games that were upcoming. Usually you don't see any enormous announcements, but back in 2015, the PlayStation Experience was where we saw the first gameplay of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So don't ever think PSX is just a placeholder event, because Sony is a big fixture at E3, Gamescom, Paris Games Week, and some people tend to think that PlayStation Experience was just another event that there wasn't much going on. No, PlayStation Experience has always been a pretty sizable event, but it was confirmed that PlayStation Experience will not be happening in 2018, and that was explained by Layden because 2019 doesn't have an absolutely expansive lineup of exclusives. Of course, we know that Days Gone is scheduled for 2019, and there's also Dreams. And back at E3, they did their massive presentations for all of their upcoming exclusives. We saw a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, we saw a lot of The Last of Us Part 2, we saw a lot of Death Stranding. Of course, Spider-Man was also a part of E3 earlier this year. That game has obviously been released, but the other 3 titles, those are either 2019 releases or beyond that. I would imagine that Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 are 2019 titles, but obviously that has not been confirmed yet with Death Stranding. You really don't know, but again, with all of those titles, we've already seen a lot of gameplay. How much more are you going to show off at PlayStation Experience? It's time for those games to take a little bit of a breather, and also it's really not time for any of these other studios to announce their games, because a studio like Guerrilla Games, yes, it's been what, 18 months since the release of Horizon Zero Dawn? Chances are they are working on a game for the PlayStation 5, so why start announcing these games for a console that hasn't even been officially announced? You want to wait a little bit on that. Maybe E3 of next year we'll be hearing about those games, but I think E3 of this year was a big telling sign that this console life is coming to an end, because they, instead of announcing new games, they just focused on games that were already announced. So for PlayStation Experience, you were really not going to have any new major announcements anyway, so I could definitely understand why they decide to hold off on holding this event this year. Hopefully we do see the event come back down the line, ideally in 2019. Moving on from that, everybody is wondering what Rocksteady is working on, and now a new 4chan post suggests that they are working on a brand new Justice League game, and this game is said to be absolutely massive. Possible names for this game include Justice League Crisis, Justice League New Crisis, and Justice League Infinite Crisis. Now, if you're expecting this to be a current-gen title, the 4chan post also suggests that the game will be released on the next Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC. And here's the surprising part, it also suggests that we'll hear more details on Xbox's new system later this year with a full reveal in early 2019, and PS5 will be announced in early 2019 as well. I originally thought 2019 was off the table for the PS5 and the next Xbox just because we already have a slated lineup of PlayStation 4 exclusives. I figured PS5 in 2019 was just too early, and if you're announcing it in early 2019, chances are it'll be released in 2019 as well. Remember that the PlayStation 4 was announced in early 2013 and then it was released later that year. I imagine they're going to be planning something similar with the PS5 whenever that's announced. Also, the post is saying that the game will be single player and co-op. Characters featured will be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, and Aquaman. And it said that the main big bad villain will be Starro. Now, this might be a little bit interesting to you. However, if you go back to Arkham Knight's DLC, Batgirl: A Matter of Family, there is a hidden Starro Easter egg, and usually Rocksteady does place Easter eggs in their games to suggest their future games. Rocksteady had a secret room in Arkham Asylum that actually gave you the map to Arkham City. Remember, in Arkham Arkham City, we had the Scarecrow Bridge, and that paved the way for Arkham Knight, and now in Arkham Knight's DLC, you have that Starro Easter egg, which comes off supremely random, but now if this is to be believed, that makes a ton of sense. And lastly, Rocksteady did have recent job hirings looking for multiplayer testers, network coders, and specialized managers, all pointing towards some sort of online experience. The game itself on the surface sounds pretty interesting. I still don't buy absolutely everything. The fact that we'll hear details about the next Xbox later this year, considering the One X was just released last year, and the PlayStation 5 will be announced in early 2019, I don't know about that, but a lot to take in through that 4chan post, and a lot of these 4chan posts tend to be right on the money. But again, take it as rumor for right now. Moving on from that, another rumor that's going around is the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 might be coming to the PlayStation 4 on 2 separate Blu-ray discs. Now, how did this rumor originate? It was actually through a GameStop post where they had Red Dead Redemption 2 pictured, and you'll notice that the picture that they have is actually a bigger case than your traditional Blu-ray case for a PlayStation 4 game. That led a lot of people to start believing that the game would be separated onto 2 discs. Remember that recently it was revealed that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be 105 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4. Blu-ray discs usually come in at either 25 gigabytes or 50 gigabytes, so of course, 105 gigabytes would lead you to believe that it can't fit on one disc. Now, my idea was that 105 gigabytes represented the main game, it represented updates that Rockstar had planned, and of course, it represented an online mode, which was gonna be a completely separate download. So this is another rumor that I'm not completely sold on, but it's still something interesting to know. And moving on from that, another game being released in October and sooner than Red Dead Redemption 2 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We're just 6 days away from that release. And of course, Assassin's Creed games have always been known for providing a plentiful amount of content, and it looks like that'll be the case with Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well. PowerPix had a post, and here's what they said. Quote, "It took me 41 hours to finish the story. I ended up at level 37 of 50. I listened to most dialogues, but skipped some, especially in the side quests. You have to do a lot of side quests to level up. There are huge level gaps between some story quests, and side quests are the only way to get XP. Besides, they also reveal locations to new cultists, so you have to do them anyway." So it does seem like with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it will be similar to Assassin's Creed Origins, where it kind of forces you to do some side quests. I wasn't a big fan of that with Origins, one of the elements of the game that I didn't really appreciate. I think side quests should be completely optional, but when you put recommended levels on missions, it kind of makes it mandatory, but it seems like I was kind of in the minority. But the fact that it does have around 40 hours of content for a pretty well-timed playthrough, that's a pretty hefty amount of content. Lastly, I do want to take a look at some fantastic PlayStation 4 deals you can take advantage of right now. For those of you that are looking for PSN credit, you can pick up $50 of PlayStation Store credit for just $45 if you go through PayPal's official website. Now, you do need to have a US PayPal account, so that is something to bear in mind, but you don't need to have any funds directly in that PayPal. You can just make an account, tie your debit card, and then pick it up that way. $5 off a $50 card, that is a great deal. And remember, it's best to get these because you optimize them while Sony is running a flash sale. So you save $5 on top of whatever sales that Sony is already running. That's how you get the best deals possible. Or if you're looking to pick up a couple of games, I believe that Sony is still running their pre-order to select games, get $15 of credit back. That might not be a bad idea while coupling it with this promotion. Outside of that, for those of you guys looking for your physical games, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is down to $17.99 over at GameFly. This game is dropping in price pretty rapidly. I thought Ni no Kuni 2 was a pretty good game. In my opinion, wasn't quite as good as the first title, but still a lot to enjoy out of this. If you want a quality JRPG at $17.99, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is a pretty good pickup. Of course, over at GameFly, their copies are used, but generally speaking, they come in very, very good condition. And lastly, over on Walmart.com, I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3, but if you want the bridge between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, you really should pick up Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. They've got it down to $19.50, which is a great deal for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8. Unlike the other collection, the 1.5 and 2.5, this one has really held up in value, and you'll typically see it even on sale. I believe the lowest I've seen it was at $24.99, and more regularly, you'll see it at $29.99. So $19.50 is a great price for this, and with KH3 right around the corner, it is a perfect time to check out 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. So that is going to conclude this video. Again, no PlayStation experience in 2018. Rocksteady looks to be working on a new Justice League League game if the 4chan post is to be believed. Red Dead Redemption 2 might be on 2 Blu-ray discs. I don't know how accurate that is, but a rumor that is circulating. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is said to last around 40 hours. You can get $50 of PlayStation Store credit for just $45. Ni no Kuni 2 is down to $17.99, and Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue is down to $19.50. Those are all great deals. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.